Hey guys, Steve here with the strategy session for Monday, August 18th, 2014. Hope you guys had a great day today. Good start to the week as far as I'm concerned with the way the portfolio is positioned and the way I am positioned personally. We really broke out of and right back into the range that we had been identifying for a couple weeks ago. I think at this point we can kind of say that maybe this was an actual test and a successful test of this pullback, okay, of this trend line. I think at this point, like I said, I don't see any reason we don't test the highs just the same as when we were coming down. I saw no reason we don't test, these highs in here. I don't really see much resistance between here and the 1980 highs that we have on the S&P futures. If you look at the weekly chart, we have nice stair-step action going on with these consolidations, these gray boxes, and it looks like, again, this 1985, 1980 level really should be our next test. And let's see, I think if we push there directly from here, I think it probably gets rejected, and then we may come back and put in a higher low and then eventually move higher. I kind of talked about some of this on the stock market outlook video from this morning, so if you haven't already, definitely check that out. I also did say I didn't think that we would test 1980 this week, but that could change very quickly, it looks like. And again, that's why those are predictions, and this is price action that we're identifying now. So again, I think if we test this, I think we get rejected, maybe come back into this 1940 level, consolidate again, and then push higher. Let's see how that reacts. The Nasdaq was, of course, the stronger of the three indices. We talked about this in the stock market outlook about that you really could take a position in the Nasdaq if you wanted with the breakout on Friday, and today we had some more continuation. And the Dow was testing the bottom of the 50-day moving average that we have, the simple moving average. We closed right above it, so let's see if we can get a little bit further push into this range and into these highs. But right now the markets, in my opinion, are setting up very well for continued move higher. I see no reason that we don't at least test the highs in the S&P and the Dow. And again, the Nasdaq is at new highs. The Russell, which was one that we looked at in the stock market outlook, is really consolidating on the weekly chart between this 1100 level and 1200 level. So again, this one closed right at the 50-day moving average, but in my opinion, it's on the way to test the 1200 level, which again, bodes well for our long positions. So let's go through those real quick. First one is Apple. Apple bounced off that 50-day moving average and that previous low that we identified in the consolidation here. So we bounced off that. Right now, to be honest, we're actually, new closing highs on Apple, 99.16. The all-time, or the recent high was, 99.44. So did we test that today? Today we got as high as 99.37. So we did test that. But right now, closing highs on Apple in the last 52 weeks. We're going back, testing the $100 level all the way from, what is this? September of 2012. Okay, that was the $100 level the last time Apple was at these levels. So, again, we are raising stop. I think we raised stop to 94.40 in the weekend update. But right now, I see no reason that we don't test 100 and potentially push through 100. ADM up a little bit today, not much. Really just consolidating this monster move it had from 46 to almost 50. We raised stop to 46.38, which is now below the 50-day moving average, and I'm considering this is our new accelerated trend line. We're kind of outside the channel, so let's see if we come back. Maybe we're going to test this gap. I think for now, I think it's safe to say that maybe ADM moves sideways for a little bit. We do. It looks like we have some dividends coming up. And I think actually we got paid a dividend in Apple. Again, I'm not sure if the paper money account actually tracks that stuff, but I think Apple did pay a dividend recently. AMT, another strong move. This one's turning out to be a nice runner here. We're actually going to raise our stop to this level right here. we're gonna raise our stop to $92. Okay, so we're gonna move it up from 83 to 92, and we'll make this one gray, and that'll be our new trailing stop level, 92. And basically that's the low of these 3 bars in here. Again, I would love to move it eventually to this 94 level, but the 50-day moving average is so far behind that, you know, I would feel that if we broke this trend line, we could potentially test the 50-day and then move higher. So for right now, just a small move to 92. APD up about 1% today. We talked about this over in the weekend update about this potentially putting in a rounded bottom, maybe a small cup and handle pattern, but right now it looks like this 130 level is going to hold. I like the way this is kind of moving off this level. We kind of went sideways, now it's moving higher. So, you know, for now, we could potentially move our stop to this 128.65. We'll slide it up to that. And that basically is the last low. And now it looks like, you know, maybe this could be another low that it's putting in. Let's just make this gray because I always seem to forget. All right, so it looks like maybe this level holds. And again, this 128.65 would mean a break of the 50, a break of trend line, and a break of this low. So, you know, that's a good, I think, good spot to put the that stop in. Disney, another good move today after our entry. Really broke out. Nice movement here. If you put some Bollinger Bands on this, you're probably looking at a volatility expansion. That's something that we don't really get into here, but it's stuff I used to look at before I got involved with trend following. But anyway, stop is still 85, and the stock is sitting 89 with you know, blue skies ahead. Really no resistance, all-time highs. So good looking move on Disney. EQR, this is a nice surprise here. We got this finally. We had this consolidation we identified, right? And now we're getting a breakout from it. I think we can potentially, let's wait a couple more days, but I think our next stop level is going to be the 64 level. Okay, and you can see the 50-day is right below it. So we're going to move our stop right now to that 64 level and make this 63.16 gray, and that new stop is 64.08, so 64 about. But you can see we got that consolidation. We have a move higher, and you know, in another day or so I would expect this 50-day to be above 64.08. So that's a good way to judge where your stops are and make sure they're not too loose or too tight. Expedia, I thought we were going to have a substantial breakout today, but we talked about this in the weekend update about it. I was afraid if we got to move higher in Expedia, that it would be kind of short-lived and potentially a false breakout. We got that today. Just with the distance it is right now from the 50-day, I would love to see this move sideways. Okay, come into that trend line on a shallow angle. You know, maybe sideways movement, hit that trend line, and then bounce higher. So for right now, we are going to raise our stop in Expedia. We can raise it to the 79.32 level, because that is the most recent stop. That puts us below trend line and below the 50-day moving average. So 79.32 is our stop, and again, you know, that's a good reference for using the 50-day and trend line to determine where your stop should be. But right now, like I said, we had that breakout. We technically did close above the range, but not substantial. And I think now, you know, now we're probably looking at maybe having some sideways action and coming into that trend line. Fidelity, you know, again, another nice move. We had raised stop over the weekend to 54.86, so it wasn't much, but you could see now we're basically knocking on the door of this 57 level, which was recent highs. And again, you know, not much to do here, just raised our stop. So let's see how that plays out. H&R Block. What we got here? H&R Block. Really, you know, not much. We basically testing those highs again, testing this 33.50 area. You know, 50 days right below it. I still think stop, you know, most valid stop level is 31.65. If we can get a breakout over 33.62, then our next stop would go to 31.97. So you could see I'm waiting for a new high to slide the stop up a little bit, and that would probably be the best reference. next reference would be up here at 33, but you could see where the 50-day is in relation to that, so that wouldn't work. So again, if we can get a breakout over the 36 level, 34 level, then we'll be able to raise our stop from 31.65 to 32. So again, not much, but at least it's taking some risk off the table. You have to love this this move here in Southwest Air. Okay, we had the breakout on Thursday, we entered Friday, and now today we got a huge move higher, almost 3.5%. Stop is easily identifiable at 27.71. Last at or below. Just set that stop, that alert, I should say. So 27.71 puts us below the 50-day moving average, below the trend line. So again, great little stop, great little continuation of this nice monster trend that we've had here in LUV. Unfortunately, we weren't involved with it sooner, but as I said, if you were with me when I first started the blog early in January, this was one of the first positions that I did put on for the first iteration of the model portfolio, and ultimately it would still be a position that would be on the books today, so it would be almost a 50% winner. RSG was our only stock that was down. It was down minimal. You could see it opened higher, closed lower, but we're still kind of moving in the right direction. I still think 36.84 is the most logical stop level. If we can get a little more continuation higher, I'd like to move stop to 34 or 37.50, and then let's see where it goes from there. But you can see on the weekly chart, moving higher nicely, broke out of this nice big base, put in some sideways action, broke out of that. So right now, I think, if you're looking at the weekly chart, under 37 seems to be a good spot that you would want to exit that trade. And the last trade being Tesoro. We've had this breakout. Really has gone sideways since. I think it's really contending with this these highs back in here. This between, let's see, 65 and 66. So it looks like it keeps, there's definitely some selling pressure there. But again, up 1.6%. Stop is still 57.50. Maybe next stop level would go to 59.06, but we'd have to see definitely some more continuation higher into Tesoro. 3 positions that would trigger. We're not going to be taking these just because, as I spoke about in the weekend update, we're pretty much maxed out on margin. We're at like 1.7 or 170% margin, so meaning that we're using 70% of the $100,000 starting value of the account. So I don't want to really push it, but a couple good setups. BXP, discussed this again. Came in nice breakout higher. I think you could probably bring your stop here to this 118. If you're aggressive, if you wanted to give it a little bit of a looser stop, you could go 117.30. But again, nice breakout from a weekly consolidation. Now it looks like we're starting to break out from this daily consolidation with today's move. Another one that I'm actually long, Lockheed Martin. You could see it broke out from this weekly consolidation. Broke out, came back, tested the 50-day moving average, and is now moving higher. All right, so if you were going to enter Lockheed Martin, I would enter tomorrow's open and potentially have a stop here at under 163. And the last one, Sealed Air. We had this nice, huge move out of earnings. It ended up not closing above the consolidation area, continued to move sideways for a little bit longer. So again, if you were going to enter here, you would basically be buying at tomorrow's open with a stop right here at 32. Again, that might be a little wide. It's just about 10%, it looks like. So that may be a little bit too wide of a stop. So that's up to you to determine. But those are 3 out of our weekly watch list that would trigger today, and they all have nice yields: 2.12, Lockheed Martin 3.1, and 1.55%. So that's it for tonight, guys. So if you haven't already, please follow me: StockTwits, Twitter, Google+. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, all to get future updates, and follow me during the day. And then also you can subscribe to the nightly recap that I issue every night with the morning and the morning videos and the strategy session video links that are delivered directly to your inbox. So if you don't have time during the day to follow me or see the links posted on Twitter, then that's the next best way to get them. And with that said, have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you tomorrow.